There is a painful moment nobody talks about. You work harder. You save what you can. You cut your spending. And yet, your money never seems to move forward. It only survives. Mara knew that feeling. She believed wealth came from having more money. So whenever she earned extra, she protected it, saved it, and told herself, someday when I have enough, I'll do something with it. But that day never came. Then one afternoon, Mara lost $20. Just 20. But that tiny loss changed the way she looked at money forever. She realized something most people never learn. Money isn't only meant to be saved. It can be used to create more value. This wasn't about getting rich overnight. It was about changing one question. Instead of asking, how can I save more? She began asking, how can I use what I already have to create more? Because sometimes, the first step toward wealth isn't having a fortune. It's recognizing the opportunity hidden inside what you already have. And Mara was about to find hers. One Friday evening, Mara came home carrying a small glass jar. She emptied her wallet onto the table. A few coins. 2 $20 bills. And some loose change. She counted everything twice. Then she opened the notebook where she tracked her savings. The number hadn't changed much in 6 months. Mara leaned back in her chair. She had been working. She had been saving. She had been saying no to things her friends enjoyed. Yet somehow, she was still standing in exactly the same place. She whispered, I'm doing everything right. But deep inside, she knew something was wrong. The next morning, Mara stopped at a neighborhood market. She bought bread, eggs, and a few vegetables. As she walked home, she reached into her pocket. Her wallet was open. One $20 bill was gone. She retraced her steps. The sidewalk. The bakery. The bus stop. Nothing. She finally sat on a bench. $20. For someone wealthy, it meant almost nothing. For Mara, it represented hours of work. She stared at the pavement and felt tears building in her eyes. Then an old man sitting nearby noticed her. He didn't ask what happened. He simply said, Money is strange. Mara looked at him. He continued, Sometimes losing a little money teaches you more than earning a lot. Mara expected some advice. Instead, Elias pointed toward the market across the street. Do you see those empty wooden crates? Mara nodded. They're worthless to the store, he said, but someone else could turn them into shelves. He picked up a small broken crate beside the bench. That's the difference between price and value. Mara frowned. Elias smiled. Most people ask what something costs. People who build wealth learn to ask what something can become. That sentence stayed with Mara. That evening, she couldn't stop thinking about it. What could something become? Not just money. Her time. Her skills. Her knowledge. Her mistakes. Her tiny savings. Maybe she had been looking at all of them the wrong way. Mara didn't suddenly become rich. She simply decided to experiment. She took $20 from her savings. Not all of it. Just 20. She bought inexpensive second-hand picture frames from a local market. At home, she cleaned them. She repaired them. Then she used the design skills she had learned at the printing shop to create simple, personalized artwork. She photographed them carefully and posted them online. For 3 days, nothing happened. No messages. No sales. Mara almost gave up. Then, on the 4th evening, her phone buzzed. Someone wanted to. Mara stared at the screen. The order was small. Very small. But it was her first proof. Money had not simply been saved. It had been sent somewhere and returned with something attached to it. Mara made a small profit. She could have spent it. For the first time in months, she actually wanted to. But she remembered Elias. Ask what it can become. So she divided the money. Some went back into the little business. Some stayed as savings. And some paid for a short online course that would improve her design skills. The next month, she sold more, then more. Her profits were still tiny, but something inside Mara had changed. She no longer saw money as something that simply disappeared. She saw it as a seed, and seeds were not meant to be admired inside a jar. They were meant to be planted. Then everything went wrong. A large order came in. Mara spent almost all the business money preparing it. She bought materials. She worked late for 2 weeks. She was exhausted but excited. Then the customer canceled. Mara sat on the floor surrounded by finished products. Hundreds of dollars of effort. Almost no way to recover it quickly. Her old fear came rushing back. This is why you don't take risks. She almost closed the business that night. She almost returned to her old way of thinking. Save. Protect. Don't risk. Don't try. But then she noticed something. The products were still there. The skills were still there. The customers she had already served were still there. She had lost money. But she had not lost everything. She had gained experience. And that was the moment Mara understood the difference between a mistake and a lesson. The next morning, Mara did something her old self would never have done. She didn't quit. She called every previous customer. She asked what they liked, what they didn't like, what they wished existed. She listened. And she discovered something. People weren't really buying frames. They were buying memories, wedding dates, family names, first homes, baby announcements. Mara changed her entire product. She stopped selling objects. She started creating personalized pieces that meant something. Orders slowly returned. Then they grew. Not because Mara had discovered a secret. She had discovered value. And value had a way of finding people willing to pay for it. 5 years later, Mara no longer worked at the printing shop. Her little experiment had become a real company. She had employees, proper studio, and money that finally worked harder than she did. But the strangest part wasn't her bank account. It was what she did with her first real profits. She didn't buy a luxury car. She didn't move into a giant house. She built systems. She kept an emergency fund. She reinvested into the business. She continued learning. She diversified carefully. And she taught her employees the same lesson Elias had taught her. Don't just ask what money can buy. Ask what it can build. Because wealth wasn't created by holding money tightly. It was created by repeatedly turning resources into greater value. One evening, Mara returned to the same neighborhood market. Elias was still there, older now. Sitting on the same bench, Mara placed a small wooden box beside him. Inside was a framed photograph. It showed the two of them from years earlier. Elias laughed. "You kept that." Mara smiled. "You changed my life with a broken crate." He shook his head. "No." He pointed toward her. "You changed your life." Mara looked down. And for a moment, she remembered the woman she had been. The woman counting coins. The woman afraid to lose $20. The woman who thought protecting money was the same thing as growing wealth. She reached into her pocket and placed a small envelope on the bench. Inside was $20. Elias looked at her. "What is that for?" Mara smiled. "For someone who needs their first seed." Mara never forgot the $20 she lost. Because losing it taught her something saving never had. Money can protect you, but when you learn to use it wisely through skills, value, productive assets, and disciplined reinvestment, it can begin working beyond the hours you personally have available. You don't need to start with a fortune. You need to stop believing that small is meaningless. Wealth grows when you stop asking what your money can buy and start asking what your money can build.